Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on Hotline Radio. The show is about conversations that matter, and people from all walks of life come and share from deep from within some of the challenges, some of the triumphs and trials they had to go through to get to their place in the sun. And we've got another fantastic individual on the line. She is the owner of Hart Zone. She's also an author and speaker, trainer, and also involved in network marketing. Please welcome Suzan Hart to the show. How are you doing today, Suzan?
I'm excellent, Nikki. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much. And, well, let's get to it. So tell me about your journey evolving into the owner of Hart Zone. How did that start?
Oh, my goodness. That started about, I would say, 15, 16 years ago. My background actually is family, individual, and group counseling. I focused on crisis work for many years, and 14, 16 years ago, I was living in Toronto, managing the manager for one of the largest drop-ins in the downtown core of the city. So I was the manager for their what I would call their crisis program. And it's a day program for women who have mental health issues and are not medicating, people who have addictions issues, women who are living on the streets. And we provided services 7 days a week. Although I loved it after being in social services for that time about 16 years, I was tired. Mm-hmm. And for me, it didn't matter how much I slept. I never woke up feeling rested. My body was breaking down. That's what it felt like. And I remember, Nikki, being at work one day and having to climb a flight of stairs and being too tired to move my body.
Wow.
Yeah. Financially, my family and I, we were $50,000 upside down in credit card debt. At one point, there was a lien on our house. We were struggling, and all I could think of was children who have to go to college, and where would I find this money, and suffering. You know, I would lay in bed and suffer in silence and wonder,
yes,
how could this be my life? How could this be my life? And I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed because, like most people, I thought I had done what I was supposed to. Went to school. I have 7 years of post-secondary education, went to work in my field, climbed that proverbial ladder, and here I was, not making ends meet.
Yeah.
And so I, praying for an answer. And then I got a call from a friend who told me about a company that she had found in network marketing with my introduction, and that she thought we could change our future with this company. Mm-hmm. And she said it was a health company. We had an opportunity to make money, and I really didn't believe her. And so at that point in time, I said, no, I'm fine. But she called me every single day for 7 days.
Yeah.
So I finally said, okay, I'm going to take a look. Looked at the products, looked at the services, put the products in my body. Within days, I was feeling better. And then began to look at how they were making money. And that look and that new education changed everything for me. So, and what I began to understand was that I was chasing money, but I wasn't trading wealth. And without wealth creation, there was no way I was going to be able to change my future. So into my journey into network marketing, into my journey into writing, into my journey into speaking, and Hart Zone was kind of born out of that journey.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What a transformation. And, it's amazing when we're in these in these challenges. It's very difficult to for some people to examine themselves and to ask themselves, how did I get here? And how am I going to get out? And some stay stuck, but you took these, hard knocks. You took these lessons and you made them blessings, right? And now I'm sure, your experience has been able to liberate so many people through your sharing. So it's just it's an amazing part of your story. So thank you for sharing that. So now you're here. You're developing Hart Zone. Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
So basically, Hart Zone is a company that does trainings and as well as introducing people into a new way of doing things. So we look at helping people change their conversation, their thoughts, their habits and behaviors, specifically in the area of health, right? And then in the area of wealth creation. And really having people begin to look at, what am I doing around my health? Because I truly believe that in a North American society, people relate health to dieting, and they're two very different things, right? I believe that your health starts within your mind. It is a thinking. It's a way of being. It's a bunch of habits that we express over time. It's not a quick fix. It totally is a daily journey. And so we help people change their thinking, their habits, and their behaviors in this area of health, and also in the same thing in their ability to understand what wealth creation is. And oftentimes people will think that, having a job that provides you with a paycheck is how they are going to create wealth. Well, and as Robert Kiyosaki says, wealth is what you have, and when money's flowing when you aren't physically working. I didn't understand that many, many years ago. And so working harder, working longer, doing more things to create this concept, this thing called money, which I thought if I put it in the bank, it would create wealth. But that's not the process. Wealth is a leverage process. It is actually money coming in. And so we help people kind of change their relationships in these two areas so they understand the difference and what's the gap in their lives, and give them and also provide a vehicle where they can actually do something to begin to create wealth.
Right.
And also understanding that once you understand the formula, the science, the actions in both of those areas, you can then expand and do so many other things in your life. Right, so our goal is to change that conversation in the area of health, in the area of wealth. I call it have people get fit, feel fabulous, and live a fulfilled life, because that's what we all truly desire. And so that people can live life on their terms. They can design a life they believe they deserve versus settling for a life that they have due to circumstances.
Okay, excellent. Can you think of a scenario of a client that that you changed in terms of the behaviors that you've coached? What was the biggest transformation for them?
It's interesting, Nikki, because when anyone works with me, the first thing I look at is how is their health physically, mentally, spiritually. Because I truly believe that anything we do is energy. So is their energy high? Is their energy, is it flowing? Are they tired? And all those different things. And so I had this one particular client who's overweight, exhausted, having some challenges. And so we began to look in the area of let's get your health on track. Let's get that moving and flowing. So helping them release some weight, right, to get some weight off them, change their habits around what they're doing around their health, and those changes are anything from hydration, exercise, what they're putting in their body, supplementation, cleansing, all those different things. So we look at those gamuts. And what begins to happen is people begin to have more energy, but they also begin to have this thing, what I call more mastery. And what mastery is your ability to manage your emotions when life comes down your street, and do what you say you're going to do, not what your emotions tell you should do, right? And so what begins to happen for this client is as they're getting healthy and they're getting more energetic and they're having more mental mastery, it begins to shift in what they're doing in terms of their job, their finances, their relationships. So it shifts their life in all sorts of different areas. They become more confident. They become more certain. They become a lot clearer. And then what the interesting thing is they also begin to dream. And when someone is energetically in a place where they start to dream. Now they're thinking about, what should I do different with my life, right? And so that is kind of what happened for this individual. And it was like, okay, well, what should I do different? What should I create differently? And their business began to transform. And it was interesting because this was someone who wasn't looking for a vehicle. This was someone who had a vehicle. They had a business. They understood. But because we got them thinking differently, and we talked a lot about leverage in our conversations, delegating, passive income, their business increased, their time freedom increased, and they just began to do things differently, and the joy in their life increased, right? But I think it started from the energy of health.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it all starts from a thought.
I truly believe it does. I think everything we do, I believe that you and I and everyone else on this planet, we create 3 times. First, we create in thought. We think of something. We visualize something. It could be positive or negative, right? Then we speak about it. We speak it into existence, right? Both positive or negative. Then we act on it. Our behaviors follow that. So if I'm able to have you have an awareness of what you're thinking and what your beliefs are, what your habits are, we can actually begin to shift that by shifting your thinking, your speaking, and then your actions, right? If we think about it, there isn't anything on this planet today that isn't here because somebody thought about it, right? The chair I'm sitting in right now, someone had that thought, and then they probably spoke about, I'm going to create this chair, and they drew it, they sketched it out, and they took action to build it, right? Everything in our life works pretty well the same way. Including our health, right? And I think what's interesting about the way we are socialized around our health is we're socialized to focus on what we don't want, right? What we don't like. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to this. I want to that. And particularly with the media and so on and so forth. But most of us don't have a vision for what we want around our health. Two very different ways of looking at things. Most of us don't have a vision of a picture of what this healthy, active, strong, vital, confident person looks like, feels like. And to understand that to move toward that, it's a continuous thing. So for me, I think of meeting the next best version of myself every single day, right? And that health is the creation of living into a new vision of yourself every day. And it might be just a slight increase, but then that's living, that's expanding. And if you're not doing that, then you're gradually dying, you're gradually shrinking. So it is all thought.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So tell me about your transformation then. How has your life been changed through the Hart Zone, through all the many interactions that you've had with people in the community?
It's interesting because I teach and train what I've experienced, truly, right? So when I start first physically, really understanding that background's an athlete, so competitive bodybuilder, track and field, basketball. I did sports all my life, and then went to work, got married, family, all those things, and somehow my health ended up on the back burner, like many adults do. And so when my health was on the back burner, I lost lean muscle mass. I was tired. I was underweight. I was grumpy. I was irritable, and I was also emotional in terms of I was erratic in my emotions. That's how I would describe it. Some people call me moody, And so the first thing that began to change was me consciously making that decision to take care of my health every single day. And I call it to fill my cup up first and only give from my overflow. So in other words, every day I will take care of me with meditate, nutrition, exercise, hydration, all those different things. And to have a tool to be able to do that through the company I work with in network marketing, it makes it a simple process. and an effective process. But it starts with the thinking and the commitment to do so. So that was the first thing that began to change for me. So put on 10 pounds of lean muscle, watch my body fat go down, watch my energy go through the roof, feeling more youthful. Most people say I look younger today than I do 14 years ago, which is when I started this journey. So that was the first thing that began to change. But in doing so, what also began to change was my mastery. You know, your relationship with yourself and being able to take care of your health is I believe it's the most intimate relationship you'll have. And in doing so, you develop habits that have you master you. So as I began to develop the habit of consistency, the habit of being my word, so getting up and working out when I say I'm going to do, managing my nutrition, all the things, like I began to develop those habits. Well, those habits had me change, and I could use those in my business. So one of the things you asked was, at the very beginning was, transitioning from a place I didn't want to be, which was no longer wanting to work and have a job that was highly stressful and long hours, and taking a leap of faith, and taking that leap of faith and starting to build something. Well, all those habits were practiced first with my health, and then over here in developing something else. So going on a journey of starting a business, totally clueless in what I was doing. The blessing of having network marketing was I didn't have overhead. Right, my overhead was less than $300 a month. I didn't have to think of product development. I didn't have to think of distribution of product. I didn't have to do all the things that you have when you have a regular business. Those things were taken care of. What I had to do was to learn how to share and market a product, and realizing it was something I did all the time because. If I'm the shoe gal, and anybody knows that if I find a pair of shoes, particularly today, I'll take a picture, send it to my girlfriend, and say the shoe's on sale at this store, right? And
you're not the only one.
No,
I'm like that with shoes and bags.
See, you got me. And
I call that manifesting.
Absolutely, I call it homeless shoes. Shoes should never be homeless. Staying home, right? And invariably, when you send that picture or you call your friend, they're going to go to that store and they're going to buy those shoes, right? The difference, when I understood network marketing, the difference was that when my friend goes to the store, my online store, the online store that I work with, and they purchase whatever it is, I was getting paid, right? And when I understood that, I was like, well, I could do this all day long, right? And then to find out that they would pay me every time someone in my network bought from their store, right? So for me, the shift in my success was really beginning to understand this whole concept of leveraging my network, and that and the possibility of leveraging their buying power, right? All of us buy. And I call it groceries. We all buy food. Leveraging their productivity. When one of us is sharing about this food, someone may not be, but all of us eventually share. Leveraging their time, leveraging their creativity, and so taking this network of people who go to work with each other and create this income. And so for me, that was the major changes. It was changing how I thought about how I created my income, and then taking that into writing and taking that into speaking, and just kind of going on that journey for myself. I think the biggest thing is really understanding that, everything in life is a leap of faith, right? Everything in life is a leap of faith. And we take a leap of faith, and it's our actions that build our belief in what's possible. So faith is a leap, and belief is built, right? And I didn't have to know what to do. I just had to start doing something. So journeyed into network marketing, and it was one step at a time, one learn at a time, learning the skills, building a network, learning how to speak in front of a room, which was quite the journey. It was just learning all these things, but it was one step at a time. And I think one of the reasons most people don't take the leap of faith is, one, is they don't know where to start, and two, is they're looking for all the answers. And as you know, Nikki, the answers in anything you're doing are revealed after you take your first step. And the next step is revealed, and the next step is revealed. And sometimes you'll fail, but in your failure, you'll pick something up that'll give you your next step, your next action. So I think for me, it has been, I think two things is one is being willing to give up my need to be perfect, my need to get everything right, and being willing to get into action and know that I'm going to fail. I'm not always going to look good. Things aren't always going to be clean and perfect. But in that, I know I'm going to pick something up and I'm going to learn something, and it'll reveal my next step. I think the other thing is just learning to trust me and knowing that within me is everything I need to create success. The difference is, am I willing to go through the challenges that will allow me to grow, stretch, and learn to become the person that will achieve what I want in life, right? And so it's every time I'm stretched, I remind myself that I'm being grown into the person who will be able to do all the things I desire for myself.
Wow. Excellent, excellent. So we are really looking forward to having you on the Nikki Clarke Show Live coming up in Ottawa, September 20th. Really, really excited to meet you face-to-face and to hear more about your message about the Hart Zone and all the many other wonderful things that you're bringing to life. So we just want to know, how can people connect with you?
People can connect with me. They can email me at Suzanhart.com, and Suzanne is Suzan, and Hart is Hart. So Suzanne at Suzanhart.com. They can find me on Facebook, and my website is Suzanhart.com. So simple, but yeah, definitely reach out to me. I mean, my commitment is, if there's someone who is like me, stuck, you're not where you want to be, and it's painful being where you want to be, and you're looking for change, you're looking for transformation, you're looking for opportunity, I'd love to have a conversation, because I totally get how it is to be in that place and just be aching for change.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I am so grateful that we had this conversation, and thank you very much for your time. You've been listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on Hotline Radio with our very special guest, Suzan Hart, who is the founder of the Hart Zone. So please reach out to her and find out more about all the wonderful offerings that she has. And we look forward to having her on the Nikki Clarke Show coming up in Ottawa, September 20th. So if you're in the Ottawa area, or maybe even Gatineau, it's not too far from Ottawa, come on down and please be inspired with the wonderful guests that we have planned for you. So thank you so much, Suzanne. Have a blessed day, and we will catch up with you soon. The show is about transforming lives one story at a time. Thank you, Suzanne. Have a great day.
Thank you, Nikki.
Okay, bye-bye.